Chin up, chin up. Everybody loves a happy face. Wear it, share it. It'll brighten up the darkest place. Twinkle, sparkle, let a little sunshine in. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side. Up with your chinny chin chin. Chin up, chin up. Put a little laughter in your eyes. Brave it, save it, even though you're feeling otherwise. Rise up, wise up, let a little smile begin. You'll be happy-hearted once you get it started. Up with your chinny chin chin. Now come on everybody, chins up. I said chins, dear. Yes, yes, I can see you've got a problem. Yes, I know, love. Yeah, double trouble. Yes. Oh, I wasn't being sarcastic. How can I be sarcastic with the chin I've got? Look at it, 2.5 weight of skin and bone. I'm not the president of the Pelican Club for nothing, you know. So look, if I can lift this, you can lift your two. All right then. Stick it in the air and wave it about. Oh, chin up, chin up. Everybody loves a happy face. Wear it, share it, it'll brighten up the darkest place. Twinkle, sparkle, let a little sunshine in. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side. Up with a chinny chin chin. Chin down will get you frowning. Turn round, starting clowning. Think, sad your trouble doubles. Think, glad they burst like bubbles. Chin up, chin up. Every little time your spirits wilt. Chin up, chin up. Give your attitude an upward tilt. Twinkle, sparkle, let a little fun begin. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side. Up with your chinny chin chin. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side. Up, keep your chinny chin up.
And what splendid advice that really is. Good evening, darlings, and a very warm welcome to Sunday Night Live with me. And I'm going to be here with you for a while, and God only knows what we're going to get up to. But thank you for being here. And oh, there's a nice start. What a lovely start to the live stream. We have got, darlings, and you may want to get a little bit excited about this. I mean, I don't know if it's a kind of excitement level that is going to cause you to clutch your little tinkles, but I will leave that up to you. Tinkle clutching is, as always, at the discretion of. I've got a dry mouth. Excuse me, darlings. Cheers. Your very good health. Palatable drop of splosh is that. Tinkle clutching is at the discretion of the community. Now then, what was I saying? Yeah, we have got a brand new. Hold on. Okay. We have got a brand new, all shiny and wonderful and new channel member. It's the M11. Thank you very much for giving me your support, and you can be sure I will wear it virtually constantly. That and talking of M11s, the sister motorway, Trace the Greenwood, has now been, God, I can't believe this, has now been a channel member for no fewer than 14 months. My God, you'd get a shorter stretch for GBH, wouldn't you, Trace? So thank you both, you two lovely ladies. Lord Stiff Upper Lip is the first cab off the rank in terms of comments and says, hi, my friend, and a big old hello to you. Peter P says, evening all. Pingu Concord is here and says, buenas noches. Lapadel says, oh God, it's too early to start losing the plot. Pingu is here and says, buenas noches, Lapa del Circuito de Chocolat. Oh, good evening, Pingu, you wonderful man. You Jimmy F500 is here and says, be careful of the spies. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Don't trust the Cambridge lot. Trace is here and says, evening all. Oh, Emma, look what you've done now, says Jimmy F500. Andrew Buttigieg is here, who we, of course, know and love as Ivor Spotty Butty. And he says, what? Cafinti, Boaty. All right, I'm not familiar with that. And hello to everyone in tonight's live shenanigans. Emma's Melon says, lol, Jimmy, what do you mean? Anyway, good evening all. Hope you're all well, and good evening to the undeniably gorgeous Boaty. My God, you're good for my ego. You are my lovely. Oh, what? I should cocoa. I should rub a dub, and you're not so bad yourself while we're at it. Steve Colg is here. Barry Scrott is here. I have been a member for about 16 months in total, says Trace. Had a payment fail at one point in the past, and I can't remember why, so my membership lapsed. Hashtag just saying. Gorgeous, that was meant to say, says the M11. My finger slipped. Ah, yes, the old slipping finger. Well, these things can happen, as we all know. Get a tissue, says Trace. Lube will do that, says Andrew. Wow, a new theme tune, says Andrew. I love that. I love that. I just decided at the very last minute, in case any of you were feeling a little bit down, I don't know, an early visit from the Monday blues, I thought, and I would like that as a theme tune. I love that song. I've loved it for years. Bruce, says Steve Cold. And he goes on to say, that song is about oral sex. I'm not convinced that it is, Steve. Good evening, all, says Bad Books. Good evening, Jason, and all in chat, says the lovely Trisha, who I've just realised I haven't replied to. She sent me a massage, and I haven't replied to it. How rude am I? I will reply to it. I will reply to it now. I know I saw one. Here we are. Hi, Jason. What is the chili seasoning you use in your noodles, please? Okay. Right. Decent question. Well, depending on the noodles that I buy, I will often use the seasoning that comes with them, which is normally just a mix of chili powder or turmeric or the other one that I can't remember at the moment. But what I do like to add, and what I find works very, very well with the noodles, is I mean, you can use red chili flakes if you want to, but I wouldn't advise it. Fresh green chilies are always lovely, but this stuff is immense. I can't recommend this highly enough. And, I really need to buy some more. But that is Chu Chow chili oil. Chinese from the Sichuan region. And it's basically, I mean, this is insanely hot. So use it with caution and care. But it's basically dried chuchai chilies in oil. And I mean, undeniably, they've got a right old kick. They'll properly kick you up the pants. But it's not, how can I put this? I don't know how to put it. It's not, although the kick is, it gives a very nuanced and intricate addition of spice to the mix, I find. I think that the fact that they're in oil really helps. So what I tend to do is I use that oil with a goodly amount of the old dried chilies in there, rather than using, stir fry oil or groundnut oil or whatever you're going to use. When you actually fry off your meat and your vegetables, and then eventually your noodles. So I do recommend that very much indeed, and it's now available. It's now available in most supermarkets. I think it's certainly available in Sainsbury's. It's not cheap, but I really do recommend it wholeheartedly. Good evening, King Clutcher of King Clutcher of Tingleness. Says Ross, Dino Dad. Good evening to you. Oh, and Ben is bursting into song. Think sad your troubles double, think glad they burst like bubbles. Chin up, chin up. Every little time your spirits will chin up, chin up. Give your attitude an upwards tilt. Bend it, shake it, ladle it. I love that song. I just love that song. Am I trapped now? Jimmy F500 says Emma's Melons. And Ben goes on to say, good evening, chinners everywhere. Oh, well, that's nice. Pingu broke Boaty, says Andrew. Well done. And then says, Kafinti is hello in Maltese, which shows you how much Maltese I've managed to learn, doesn't it? God, all the time I've bloody spent there now, I don't recognise the word for hello. That's terrible, isn't it? Now, in my defence, I know no Maltese. The only Maltese I know is fart on macaca, which means rain falling on a bald head. And that is literally it. I know zero Maltese. And despite the fact that I've spent so much time in the Maltese Islands, you know, for many years, it was literally a second home. I was out there every month. Despite that, my defense for not having got hold of the language is, firstly, everybody speaks English, and secondly, everybody speaks Italian. Italian is the second language here. And I speak English and I speak Italian. So learning Maltese, I did have a go at learning Maltese. I got one of those apps that you can teach yourself with, but oh, I don't know. It gets harder as you get older to learn new languages. When I was younger, I absorbed languages very, very easily. And at the age I am now, well, bloody hell, I forget my own name and my own language, never mind other ones. And yeah, I find it impossible to learn new languages. And I find that I'm forgetting a lot of the languages that I learned previously. I mean, I'm around people speaking Nepali all the time, and you'd think that I would be probably becoming to be reasonably conversationally fluent, and I'm really not. I can still only count up to 6, and I've got very little in the way of Nepali, but there we go. I didn't recognise some Maltese. Peter P says M11 at connoisseur level, you can have the pleasure of being trapped by Boaty. Yeah, quite correct. Connoisseur level gives you the right to squat in my guest suite. It made me smile, the tune did, says Andrew, and I'm really glad about that. The song sounded like Run Rabbit, Run Rabbit, Run, Run, Run. Ross says, Emma's Melons, do you remember Waco or Wacko? Not sure how to pronounce that. This is very similar. We're all here to offer our daughters to the chosen one. Bloody hell. And the M11 says, I have no clue what Wacko is or was. Oh, and it's a cult, says Tracy. Tracy knows about these things. That's how come she knows about me. I remember when I first met Tracy, way, way back in the eBay days, and she said, hello, Boaty, I've heard you're a massive cult. And I said, yeah, something like that. I am a very highly regarded spelling mistake. Oh, dear. Trust you to know about a bloody cult, Trace. You probably started it, or were part of it. Thank you. Too hot for me to try as I'm a wuss, says Trisha, but Paul will give it a try. Good man, Paul. Ben says, Doris on dating. Oh, I know what's coming. I love this. We didn't do the full Gavin and Stacey, did we? And we need to. I love this. I know exactly what's coming. I could quote this myself. I can't do Doris. Well, I mean, I think she's dead now, isn't she? So she's not even an Oprah. But you know what I mean? I can't impersonate her. The thing to remember is, don't go giving him nothing on the first night. Well, no, not nothing. A kiss, a cuddle, a cheeky finger. But don't go selling the old farm. I love that. I remember I should do the Gavin and Stacey story, shouldn't I? If I haven't already. I remember watching that. Now, obviously, I know Barry very well. And by Barry, I do mean, the place rather than any of the Barrys who are part of this community. Marvellous though they are. And as soon as I heard Doris come out with that, I thought, yep, this is going to be good. I mean, I was already a fan just at the opening shot of the dog running across the across the square on the island. But yeah, when Doris came out with that, bloody hell. Waco, Texas, says Andrew. Jimmy F500 says 1993 Nutter in America. Where else? Neil is here, aka the Gibernatore, the very, very, very nice man. How are we all today? I think we're okay, and we hope you're well too, Neil. Hi, Neil. Hi, Neil. Hello, Caterpillar, says the one and only, well, the man some know as Captain Mustard. Let me introduce him now. He's my friend and yours, the one and only Captain Mustard. Also known by some as Project Nigel. A man who sits astride two mightily unsuccessful YouTube channels like a colossus bestriding two planets. Oh, yeah, that's the kind of magnitude of person we're talking here. Let's face it, you've got to be quite magnitudinous, and that's probably not a word, but I don't care, to pull off that camp damp Jesus look. That's a brave look, isn't it? Oh, yeah. And he takes that look with him everywhere, Honestly, he walks down the road with it. He walks into budget supermarkets with it. Carrying a box. He walks into budget supermarkets like a camp damp Jesus, carrying a shallow box because he doesn't like buying bags. He travels everywhere with a series of boxes that are almost, but not quite, entirely unsuitable for the task to which he puts them. Oh yeah, because you see, the sides are always too shallow. If you were carrying something like a watermelon in that box, then, I wouldn't want to bet my life or even a glass of wine on that watermelon not, quite frankly, breaking free of the constraints of that box with its lower sides. The corners are fine. They're splendid things. They're like tall, fortitudinal buttresses of stout containment. But then they go down like that, and then it's quite a low wall. It's the kind of wall that Jimmy Krankie could probably hurdle over, I mean, and that is kind of a metaphor because obviously, as walls get, it's a cardboard wall like that. And obviously Jimmy Krankie could hurdle over that unless he or she is spending time being dead for tax purposes at the moment. I'm honestly not aware. And anyway, I'm forgetting, she's not a real person, is she? She was operated by Rod Hull, who operated her by putting his hand up her bottom. So I don't know how they used to get away with that in the bloody 1970s. How did he get away with that? Putting his hand up what was supposed to be a schoolboy's bottom. I mean, and everybody thought it was okay. even when it attacked Michael Aspel or Michael Parkinson or Michael McIntyre, whoever it was it attacked. But I mean, that, you think about it now, it's fucking outrageous, isn't it? Or is it just me? I mean, all right, it was supposed to be. We know, don't we, darlings? We know that it was really a lady. It wasn't really a schoolboy. And it was a lady to whom Rod Hull was actually married. So admittedly, he's putting his hand up his own wife's bottom. And I suppose that is more acceptable, but not on children's television, for God's sake. Honestly, children's television in the 1970s was written and performed by perverts. Every last one of them. Captain Pugwash, Seaman Staines, and then Rod Hull coming on with his hand up his wife's bottom, operating her like a bloody puppet. Fucking outrageous. I mean, it's amazing that I grew up to be as normal as I bloody well am. Dear me. God. It was quite a relief when Postman Pat came on the scene, I can tell you that. Where did I get to? Oh, Mustard was saying hello to us, wasn't it? Oh, God, says the M11. It's the pungent farter. Right, okay. Well, I mean, is this a... well, I know he's a pungent farter. He farts non-stop. I've never known. I mean, I'm relatively convinced that Mustard doesn't have lungs. He just breathes in, and then a second or two later, what's left of his breath comes out of his arse. But I'm guessing he might have done a live stream tonight, and he may have done a bit of anal trumpeting. But that's just a guess on my part. And if I'm wrong, then I sincerely apologise to him. You know, what Mustard needs, what Mustard bloody well needs, the farting devil, he needs to be operated by Rod Hull if he's still alive. And see how well he goes about farting when he's got Rod Hull's hand stuck up his arse, operating his head. Yeah. Wouldn't be finding it so funny then, would he? I might actually start a petition to try and make that happen. Or, you know, I'm jumping out on a limb and saying it should be Rod Hull, but let's put it out there. Feature one. Who would you like to see sticking their hand up Captain Mustard's bottom in order to operate him for a new series of Project Nigel / Captain Mustard videos or live streams? And I'll leave that one with you, darlings. I'm sure you'll have some really splendid ideas. At least my ears won't be vibrating with him in this chat, Emma's Melons, says Trace. Mustard was farting all over his live stream tonight, according to the M11. Proper loud and juicy ones too. Those poor fish. Oh, God. Well, that sounds terrible. I'm stupid for not learning Maltese, says Andrew. Could have been closer to my dad. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, I forgot that. Mustard, what have you been eating, says Barry Scrotter. Oh, right. Ben's carrying on with the Gavin and Stacey. Here we go. Pam. I've no idea what my name means in Welsh. Nessa, why? Pam goes, because I don't speak the lingo, darling. Nessa, no. In Welsh, Pam means why. And it does, actually. I love a vibrating fart, says Jimmy F500. Sometimes you can... No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to bring the tone down. I mean, I pride myself on hosting a professional, family-friendly, compassionate, and filth-free community live stream. I'm not going to lower myself to the levels where I would say that sometimes when you've got an itchy bum, a fart can really do a good job of scratching it. No, that's not me. The eBay days, says Trace, where you wound the pinks up daily and nightly. Yeah, I did do a bit of that, it must be said. The pinks were the moderators of our Power Washers community private chat room board thingy. And yeah, I may have done a bit of winding up. Oh, and Ben Caddy's on. Nessa as Santa. Oh, Gav, I'm not being funny, but you got to sit on my knee. It's the rules. Don't worry, I've been checked. I'm not on the register. Oh, Doris is a corpse swap, says Trace. Oh, bless her. Bless her. Is this what it's come to, says Steve Cold. Boaty's subs going out like wacko. I'm not going to one of your meets, he goes on to say. Steve, you don't need to. Boaty's secretly been hypnotising us for a long time. It's when he says the code word, we'll all be activated. I'll go to one, says Emma Smallins, but I've got to get to connoisseur level first, it seems. Oh, Simone is here, the lovely hooked on classics. I think I honestly prefer hooked. I think Simone sounds slightly more exotic as hooked on classics. Maybe that's just me. And everybody says hello to, everybody's saying hello to Simone. I'm crying here, says Trace. Rod Hull and Jimmy Krankie. Yeah, well, you're crying. Think how poor old Jimmy Krankie feels, or whatever her name was. Imagine if all of your working life involved having Rod Hull's big old hoary hand inserted up your Marmite motorway. Bloody hell. Jason is on a rant, says Jimmy F500. Weren't the Krankie swingers? Asks Neil. I do remember, now you mention it, I remember something about that. I do remember something about that. Does anybody know? Or does anybody know the rumour? I'm sure I remember something about that. Swinging pervert at that, says Craig. She was having it away with Emu. What's Emu? Who's Emu? There's a hilarious rude overdub of Fireman Sam on YouTube. It's brilliant, says Ross. Swings and roundabouts, says Steve. Andrew says, makes me think what the hell was going on with kids' TV here in the 70s now. Exactly. Rod Hull died adjusting his rooftop TV aerial, says the M11. And, Rocket Max, our lovely friend Max, who is the known universe's leading Elton John tribute act. I've seen him in action on video. I'll see him live one day. And I'm telling you, he is as good as it gets. And that's from one ex-tribute act to a current one. For those who don't know, I used to be a musical tribute act. I'm sure you all know that. He also says, didn't Rod Hull fall off his roof? Apparently he did, adjusting his rooftop TV aerial. I mean, you know, that's tragic, but you've got to say it's going to come as it must have come as a bit of a relief to his poor wife, mustn't it? I mean, honestly, I don't know how old he was when he died, but after all those years of that rectal abuse, I mean, her arse must have been hanging down like a blubby, hungry puppy's mouth. God, it must have been horrendous. Dear me. Oh, I mean, honestly, the kind of thing that used to go on in the 1970s, and nobody seems to turn a hair. Whereas, don't get me started. But anyway, let's all just take a moment to remember Rod Hull, who you'd think if anybody was going to fall off the roof, you'd think it was going to be his wife, wouldn't you? I mean, let's face it. All right, imagine that you are Jeanette Krankie, right? And you're sitting. Well, you might be standing up, or at best you'd be sitting on a cushion, wouldn't you? In your living room with Rod Hull, your husband, and the picture on the TV is a bit wonky. And Rod Hull sort of says, I can't remember his accent. Picture's a bit wonky, isn't it, love? Yeah. Shall I go up on the roof and adjust the aerial, man? And if you were Jeanette Krankie, you'd say, no, I'll go up. Because at least up there, your poor old Marmite motorway is going to be safe from his probing hand. I mean, you never know when he's going to want to do a full dress rehearsal, are you? If I was her, I'd have been up there on that roof. Although, now then, conspiracy theory. What about this? What about, now then, right, this is a genuine thing that I've just thought of, I promise you. Right, conspiracy theory, I know. What about if it wasn't an accident? What about if Jeanette Krankie had just had more than enough of, I mean, you've heard about coercive control. Well, I mean, normally that refers to mind games, doesn't it? Manipulation of the mind, manipulation of the emotions. And as terrible as that is, and, you know, I listened to the Archers. What's his name? What's his name? He's dead now. He had a brain tumor. What's his name? The bastard on the Archers who was coercive controlling Helen. Anyway, he's dead now, and bloody good riddance to him. That's what I say. But that would pale into insignificance compared to the literal physical control that Rod Hull exercised over his wife. Now, physical control is one thing, you know, like you could use violence. You could say, do this or I'll slap you. Or you could push them, or you could force their head down, or, you know, whatever. But what he did was the worst of the worst. He literally controlled her by putting his hand up her bottom, for God's sake. So, my theory is that she tweaked the TV somehow, and then, you know, said, oh, you need to adjust the TV aerial, darling. Because she would have been, you know, she wouldn't want to give him any clues that anything was awry. She would have said, look, darling, our favourite programme is coming on. Why don't you go up on the roof and, you know, and tweak the TV aerial? We'll enjoy our favourite television programme, and then I'll lube up and you can do your thing. And, you know, he'd have said, right, fine, happy with that, looking forward to bargain hunt. I'll just get my old stepladder out. And then Jeanette Krankie, she whizzes up into the old loft, doesn't she? And when he's up there on the roof, in what I would call a precarious position, and that's alliteration for you, darlings. That's a double P, you know, like you can do in the morning sometimes when you think you're finished and then you get a second flow. You know, it does happen. So he's poised precariously. She's lurking underneath the old skylight, and she's got a long, pointed device thing. And he's there, you know, fiddling about with the aerial, possibly calling down saying, darling, is David Dickinson in full focus now? And she just, out of the skylight, right, prods him with the old poking device, and down he goes. It's the perfect crime. It's the perfect crime. All she's got to do is close the skylight window, dispose of the poking device in some way, or discard, you know, it could have been like something as simple as a couple of broom handles tied together with a kitchen knife. Well, all you'd have to do is quickly untie them, put them back in the broomy bits or the moppy bit, put the kitchen knife back in the drawer, dial 999 and say, hello, it's Jeanette Krankie here. No, it's not the normal thing. I don't need an ambulance. My rectum is actually fine for once. It's my husband. He's fallen off the roof and bargain hunt has only just started. All right, it's a conspiracy theory. I've got no inside knowledge, but, you know, you do hear about these things. And I'll be honest with you, and this is just my opinion. If that's what happened, I wouldn't blame her. Just saying, just putting it out there. Don't judge me, but that's what I honestly think. I wish I could remember the name of the guy from the Archers. He was a right bastard. Was it Rob? Rob. Rob somebody or other. I'm sure it was Rob. Can't remember his name. But anyway, as I say, he is dead now, so that'll teach him, won't it? Oh, he was a bad one. He was a wrong one. I knew it. From the first episode he came in, I said, he's a bad one. I even put it on Facebook. I said, mark my words, he's a bad one. And I knew that there was something dodgy about this latest one that she's been, oh no, not her, is it? It's the other one, Alice. Alice, the one that Alice has been knocking about with, the alcoholic. I knew there was a problem with him. I knew there was a problem. Even though it was radio, I could tell that his eyes were too close together. Don't trust anybody on radio whose eyes are too close together. All right? Bit of an old wives' tale. It stood me in good stead. Honestly, sometimes the world will just make you... Anyway, let's catch up with some of your comments, shall we? There are loads of overdubbed Postman Pat episodes on YouTube, says Barry Scrotter. There are. I've seen a few. I don't reckon the Krankies are Scottish, says Steve Colg. Ben says... Oh, what? Oh, you mean... A what? A Bax? What's a Bax? Oh, I see. A Bax. In Sean's case, a Bax full of clacks. Very clever, Ben. Very clever. That is a... Well, somebody's been watching Sean's videos lately, haven't they, Ben? I don't blame you. Let me see, says Emma's Melons. Who should stick their hand up mustard to operate him? I'm going to suggest his moderator. That's surely part of her job. Andrew says, Ross, have you seen the Scottish Pingu? I'm not sure I'm strong enough to control the beast from within, M11, says Trace. Peter P says, Trace, use both hands. Good advice. Steve Ness Paul is with us. Hello, boatman and fellow limey individuals. And what about those animals, says Ross, that had a threesome? A panda, a bear, and a dog. I was traumatized. I don't remember that one. John Stoodley is with us. Hey, chat. Hey, Boaty. Hello, John. Steve Cole says the other Krankie was into boys. What, you mean? Well, probably quite literally. Oh, God, I mean, the mind boggles. The mind boggles. Well, let's hope he wore a glove. Honestly, the things that people get up to, you wouldn't read about it. I reckon Paddy McGuinness or Johnny Vegas should operate mustard, says Barry Scrotter. Oh, now then. Johnny Vegas would be fun, wouldn't he? Although he'd have quite a fat hand and wrist. Could be uncomfortable. So, good idea. Jimmy F500 says, Boo tried and failed to operate Boaty. And it's funny because it's true. Barry says, yep, I saw today Sean has 2 new clacks, one of which doesn't work. Rodhull's death was falling off a roof, says Simone of Hooked on Classics. What a way to go. Joe is here, Cars with JC, and he says, good evening all. Sorry I'm late to the party, but I've edited 3 videos and 3 thumbnails. 1 video is live already, and the other 2 are scheduled for tomorrow and the following day for 10 a.m. There we are. Joseph, says Steve Colg. Hi, Joe. The M11 says, is it just me that didn't think that Rod Hull and Jimmy Krankie had a thing going? Oh, hello. Damien Eves is with us and says, hello. And that's a name that I don't recognize. So That's nice. Hello, Damien, and a very warm welcome to the old community here. Now then, says Joe. There's a documentary about Rod Hull called Fiddler on the Roof, says Black Lines. The Krankies are both 76, says Bad Books. If Jeanette Krankie was with Rod Hill, then what happened to Jimmy? I'm bloody confused now, Emma's Melons. I'm confused. You're confusing me. P.S. I don't have a TV, Ariel, says Steve Colk. I only watch YouTube. Ben says, before Father Boaty utters clack thrice, run, else you will be enveloped in his voluminous folds forevermore. Oh, dear. Trace says, you blinked and missed Boaty's insane brain popping out and running around the room, M11. If only she'd washed his clothes with Bounce instead of Ariel. Oh, genius. Absolute genius. Well done, that man. Well done, Black Lines. I feel sorry for Gordon the Gopher, says Simone. Yeah, another victim. Another victim. Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Wirral, the Leisure Peninsula, says, is Jason Inspector Morton? What have I missed? That's why Boaty doesn't have a TV, says Ross. He sent Chinese madam up to tweak his aerial and she was never seen again. It's a lie. It's a lie. Gordon the Gopher is a little shitbag, says Ross, not holding back. Nookie Bear was a bit naughty, says Bad Books. Oh, and Baddy Scrotter says, I've just looked Nookie Bear up before my time, mate. Roger de Courcy. Roger de Courcy, wasn't it? Sooty and Sweep, says Ross. Oh my God, says gotta be me, Sherry. My microphone is back on keyboard. This is orgasmic. That's so sad my life has been, but I'm very relieved, and I'm not even sure how I got it back, but I'm lost without it. And hello, everyone. Emma's Melon, says Peter P. Now I'm confused. Title from Trace, if only she'd watched his clothes with Bounce instead of Ariel. Might be a bit long. I was thinking about Rod Hull. Did he fall or was he pushed? Ben saying hello to Sherry. And the M11 says, I've been promoted from motorway to fruit since becoming a member, I think, Peter. Gordon the Gopher always looks surprised, says Black Lines. Yeah, well, bloody hell, you would, wouldn't you? Well, I mean, you would. Dear, oh dear. And amazingly, I've caught up with the comments. So that's good, isn't it? What should we talk about for the last 16 minutes? Oh, Ed Usher is with us. Oi, oi, Boaty, and hello to the motley crew. Hello to you, Ed. What can I tell you about today? Today has been a reasonably good day. I moved the entire fleet of cars way down the road and hidden around here, there, and everywhere, so they can put a new lane down over the next few days. I had an evening at work, which was okay. Ram's very angry with me at the moment. It's not a nice atmosphere. He's been angry with me for 2 days now. I'm wondering how much longer it's going to last. Gordon's poor little squeak, says Baddy Scrotter. What else happened today? That's about it, really. I did a mountain of washing up because I appear not to have done it for a day. I did some laundry. Oh, and as happens every now and then when you least expect it, guess who came out of the woodwork? Bernard. Oh, yes. Ping, ping, ping. her son has left home and has got a place in Chester. Her eldest son, that is. So there you go. That's my news. What have you lot been up to? You'll never guess what I've got for supper. Well, you might. It's curry. How is Stigba, Boaty mate? Asked John. Stigba is all good. I can't read that out, Steakhold. Yeah, Stigba's all good. I moved him today. He started good as gold. He's grand. He's fine. Absolutely. They all started. They all started good as gold. They all drove. They all moved. They're all lovely. So yeah, no problems. Tomorrow, of course, there's I'm back. Hello, says Mustard. What have you done to Ram? Asked Betty Scotter. I shouted at him. I really shouted at him on Friday night, and he got terribly offended. I felt terrible. And he's barely spoken to me since. I did apologise, but yeah, I think I'm going to be in the doghouse for a while. Hopefully not forever. Who on TV now do you think will be judged for their behaviour in 40 years' time? Asked Blacklines. Even if it's acceptable now. Russell Brand, that detestable arsehole. Can't stand him. Boaty, talking about puppets, says Ed Usher. I felt like Ed the Duck on Thursday. Lucky Angela was in charge and not Philip Schofield. Yeah, absolutely. Narrow squeak there. Or should that be a narrow quack? So tomorrow, no Wales tomorrow, darlings. Tomorrow, I'm off to the yard, the dear old yard of dreams with dear old Captain Mustard. And if all goes according to plan, then I will be fitting new brake pads and brake discs to the Honourable Sheeson. Oh, yeah. Oh, and also I'm going to be putting Andy Pandy up for sale. Needs to be sold. Needs to be sold. Needs to be sold. Needs to be sold. So, yeah, and so that's the main objective of the day. New brakes on Sheeson. I have the parts. They're sitting in my front parlour on my beautiful table in front of my leather sofa that I've now owned for 9 years. And I think I've only sat on it once. In fact, I've only sat in the front parlour about, I bet you it's not more than once a year. I bet you it's not more than once a year that I've actually sat in the front parlour. I spent lots of time in the bedroom, plenty of time in here, loads of time around the kitchen. I spent time in the guest suite, stroke office, and God knows I spent time in the bathroom. But the front parlour, that's there for walking through. Oh, I don't do it. Honestly, when I think back to how many friends or even family would just spend so much time sitting on a settee, however comfortable it might be, gazing gormlessly at the television, the old idiot's lantern in the corner of the room. What a waste of life. My God, there must be other things that you could do. Anyway, there we are. Oh, hang on. We've got a load of comments suddenly come in. Oh, yeah. And carrying on about tomorrow, the other things on the agenda will hopefully be collecting lunch from the Milkston Road, doing a podcast or two, getting a lunch video because we haven't had one of those for ages, and whatever else comes up, I suppose. Oh, yeah. Doing a sales video on Andy Pandy and anything else that needs to go. I might covertly and secretly book Motorwise to come and take Fred the Shed away for scrap. Just, I would enjoy watching the video when they turned up. Yep, that's the one. We want that one. Oh, yeah. I think we're talking about the who will be judged for their behaviour in 40 years' time. Russell Brand Defo, says Emma's Mellons. And watch his face off Little Britain, adds Black Lines. Simone bought an OBD2 tester today. Tested cone is fine, no problems at all. What's that 20 quid wasted? Now it'll always come in handy. That bloke who looks like a mannequin, says Mustard. David Williams, says Trace. Jimmy Carr. Boy Williams, says Buddy Scrotter. Another Jimmy Carr. Oh, no, that one with the jet black hair and teeth, says Mustard. Rylan? Is that Rylan? Yeah, Trace says Rylan. Yeah, that's him, says Mustard. He's all right. He's all right, he is. I mean, I don't see him on telly, obviously. But he took over somebody's. Now then, I'm glad you asked, actually, because he took over. What's her name? Zoe Ball, Johnny Ball's daughter. Johnny Ball reveals all. See, something else that happened in the 1970s. Talk about hiding in plain fucking sight. The program was called Johnny Ball Reveals All. Really? Great viewing for children. Fucking hell. Anyway, Ryland took over Zoe Ball's Saturday afternoon Radio 2 show when she went to do the breakfast show. And I don't listen to it now. And the first time I listened to it, I thought, this guy's a complete tool. But then I listened to a couple afterwards and I thought, actually, he's all right. He's all right, this guy. He's all right. Haven't they already pretty much banned Little Britain, asked Ross? Trace says, Williams as a person is a creep. Oh, dear. Justin Fletcher, says the M11. I've got no idea who that is. Russell Brand has already got allegations against him, says Bad Books. Not enough. Not enough. I want him to be hung, drawn and quartered. Williams has always been sus, says Black Lines. Actually, says Trace, I've heard that Williams is more than a creep. Apparently, he likes them young, mid-teens, not super nasty young. Emma, says Baddy Scrotter, Mr. Tumble, my wife thinks he's a wrong un. And the M11 says, yep, I know somebody who met him and he didn't seem to like kids much. There's a pic of a man in stockings with his tinkle up a car exhaust that looks like Mr. Tumble, says Trace. Where have you been watching? And Ross says, Trace, I've seen that. Funnily enough, it's a Range Rover. And then apparently if Barry thinks that if I did book Fred the Shed in for scrap, Mustard would chain himself to the bonnet. He probably would, actually. Anton Deck, says Jimmy F500. Ben says, we did a scene in bed with John Batterman. Jimmy said, I can feel your tinky winky, and pulled out a Teletubby. Then John said, no, this is my tinkle winkle, and pulled out a big one. Russell Brand is a... Oh, can I read that out? I don't know if I can read that out. Russell Brand is a very naughty man who does naughty, rapey things, says Steve Cole. If I see him, I'll take his head away off him. I'm quite enjoying the libel on here, says Black Lines. Yeah, well, that's what I just thought. I can't see this video staying monetized for too long. John Barrowman, says Trace. Groper and Flasher. I've no idea who he is. No idea who he is. But there we are. There we are. Now then, darlings, if you'll forgive me, I am going to, quite frankly, and in the most loving way imaginable, fuck off at midnight, because I've been a bit short of sleep lately, and I've got a long old day of manual graft and labour happening tomorrow. I mean, the first thing I've got to do is carry the parts to the car, and they weigh a bleeding ton. These hands were not designed for manual labour, darlings. These hands were designed for gently caressing Lionel Blair while Eunice Stubbs rubbed beautiful, sultry baby oil into my summer cardigan. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Andrew has retracted a message. That'll teach us. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, now then. Yeah. There was something else I wanted to tell you. I forgot. Right. Little bit of an announcement. Going forward for a while, Monday night, the Monday night live stream is now going to be it's going to be Monday night with Emma and Boaty. Yeah, we're going to be co-hosting Monday nights, and I'm going to be trying to introduce some sort of technology, which means that you can actually see her physog rather than just hearing her voice. Don't know if that's going to happen in time for tomorrow night, so I have to purchase something, one of those Bluetoothy ear poddy thingies. Apparently, I have to get one of them. But yeah, so Monday night going forward is going to be a co-hosted affair, and because we are two consummate professionals, darlings, we're going to try and improve the quality of this ramshackle old crap a little bit and give it a little bit of a format. So, with actual set in advance subjects for discussion, features, that sort of thing. Now, I don't know what, if anything, will get in place for tomorrow night, but if any of you guys would like to suggest, a topic for discussion for the first Monday night live with Boaty and the M11, then shout it out here, and we will peruse it and consider it, and might well implement it. I was kind of thinking, because if we do it properly and we announce the subject for discussion in advance, give people a chance to have a think about where they stand on it. We could discuss the Rod Hull potential murder case. But yeah, there are libel laws and things like that. Or is it slander? Which is spoken and which is written? Libel is written or spoken. Written, I think. But seriously, if you can think of any features or any discussion things that you think would be fun, then do shout them out. I was thinking maybe something relatively sensible in the first hour, 10 till 11. And then, obviously 11 till midnight, I'll be drinking wine. So anything goes. Anything goes, darlings. Anything goes. If it's got toes, nobody knows. And I feel the need to tell you that I'm really looking forward to my curry tonight. I really am. You don't need to know that, but I really am. Anton Deck should be jailed for existing, says Black Lines, and it is now midnight. So start to say your good night, darlings. I'm going to leave you in peace to enjoy your. Well, we've seen that Sunday night together, haven't we? We've been to church. We've had a lovely time. We've had our bath. We've watched Bullseye, and all that we've got to do now is say our good nights and then all join up again together in bed. I'm probably going to be last in because, I've got some preparations for tomorrow to do. Some online admin. I've got to make and eat supper, all of that sort of thing. So, and please remember the rules for the community bed. There is no eating in bed, no crumbs, no drinks are to be taken into the bedroom. Okay. And, try not to take up too much room and leave some room for me when I canter up there at about, oh God, it'll be after 1 o'clock, won't it? Probably 1:30. Might even be knocking on towards 2, but hopefully not, because I plan to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow, darlings. Oh yes. Second only to Jedward. Well, I've told you the story about Jedward, haven't I? It's too long a story to tell again now, but it involved a pilgrimage, a very religious pilgrimage to Knock in Ireland on a coach trip with a load of Irish pensioners from a local church. Myself and the artist formerly known as Mrs. Boaty were the only people on that coach under 70, including the driver. And then stopping for dinner on the way back, and it was a dinner show, and the show was Jedward. Bloody hell. Does Emma get her own theme tune? Asked Peter P. We haven't actually discussed the exact terms of this arrangement going forward. Don't be trying to slip Fred onto the back of the scrap lorry when he turns up, says Ross. Emma Lemon has 50 subs, says Ben. Well done, you. Oh, that means that. Try not to break a nail tomorrow, Boaty, says Buddy Scrotter. Yeah. Oh, that means I can't co-host from my bed any longer, says Emma's Melons. No, you might actually have to, stay up, not being United. How will you manage, asked Mr. Stephen Parry. How will you manage it, as you're not used to getting your hands dirty, Jason? Only joking. No, you're not. Hope you have a nice day at the yard. I'm sure I will. And Emma, the M11 would like to point out that she's now Emma Lemon X now, and not Emma Lemon 123. Libel written like library, says Trace, and slander is spoken. Right, thank you, Trace and Black Lines. Welcome, M11, says Mr. Stephen Parry. Monday live. Looking forward to watching you both chat. The funny thing is, says Steve Cole, Rod Hull didn't even have a TV. Oh, well, there you are, you see. Can't believe you're asking us for topics, says Black Lines. What could go wrong? Subject suggestion, says Ben. Peg, how do you take or use yours? Topic, Captain Sensible, says Simone. Okay, that could be taken many ways, couldn't it? Captain, who was it that Captain Sensible was in? What was the band? He was the guitarist, wasn't he? And I can't remember what the band was. No, can't remember. Topic, the many uses of passion fruit. Emma, take over now, says Jimmy at 500. Good night all, says Trace. See you all tomorrow. Subject for discussion, condiments. Should they be on public display or placed on a condiment shelf? Oh, I like that one. I do like that one. I will have lots to say on that. And I will take you around my room of condiments as well. Good night, all, says Trisha. Good night, chat, says John. Well, I went swimming, says Baddy Scrotter. Church, I'd dissolve it if I walked into one of those buildings. Night all, says Bad Books. Night all, says Barry. Merry Christmas, everyone, says Stephen S. Paul. Peter B, good night all. Good night, everyone. Roll on Monday night. The Lovebirds online. Jason and the wonderful M11, says Mr. Stephen Parry. Jimmy up. I can't read that. Libel is written for sure, says Sherry. Broadway show a long time ago. A case of libel. Got to go backstage and meet the stars because my theatre teacher cousin was in the show and no one will recall him. But Van Heflin starred. Oh, there we are. He is getting his hands dirty tomorrow, says Ross is going to open the gate. The Damned! That's right, Andrew. Well done. That's right, the Damned. That's what Captain Sensible with the... that's right. Some say Boaty's hands are insured for £1 million. They're really not. I'd have chopped them off by now, wouldn't I? Paid some bills. Good night, all, says Emma's Melons. Catch you all tomorrow night. And good night, lovely Boaty. Looking forward to some fun with you tomorrow, too. Me too, my lovely. Have a safe and peaceful night. And in fact, at that point, I will say that to all of you. Please, everybody, have a safe and peaceful night. Very best wishes for Monday. I hope that it's not too unkind to you. Have the best day that you possibly can tomorrow. Remember, life is a joy, or can be a joy, or at the very least, even if life's a bloody hemorrhoid, then, oh, no offense, Emma, then take joy out of it wherever you can. And above all, keep your chin up. Shall I play it again? Oh, go on. I'm going to play you out to it. I can't get enough of that. Oh, if I'd have had that ready to go, that would have been so good, wouldn't it? But never mind. I didn't, but we'll do it again. Right. Pretend this is an edit. And above all, keep those chins up.
Chin up, chin up. Everybody loves a happy face. Wear it, share it. It'll brighten up the darkest place. Twinkle, sparkle, let a little sunshine in. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side up with your chinny chin chin. Chin up, chin up. Put a little laughter in your eyes. Brave it, save it, even though you're feeling otherwise. Rise up, wise up, let a little smile begin. You'll be happy-hearted once you get it started. Up with your chinny chin chin. Now come on, everybody, chins up. I said chins, dear. Yes, yes, I can see you've got a problem. Yeah, I know, love. Yeah, double trouble. Yes. Oh, I wasn't being sarcastic. How can I be sarcastic with the chin I've got? Look at it, 2.5 weight of skin and bone. I'm not the president of the Pelican Club for nothing, you know. So look, if I can lift this, you can lift your two. All right then.
Stick it in the air and wave it about.
Oh, chin up, chin up. Everybody loves a happy face. Wear it, share it. It'll brighten up the darkest place. Twinkle, sparkle, let a little sunshine in. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side. Up with a chinny chin chin. Chin down will get you frowning. Turn round, starting crowning. Think, sad your trouble doubles. Think, glad they burst like bubbles. Chin up, chin up. Every little time your spirits wilt. Chin up, chin up. Give your attitude an upward tilt. Twinkle, sparkle, let a little fun begin. You'll be on the right side, looking at the bright side. Up with your chinny chin chin.
You'll be on the bright side, looking at the bright side. Up, keep your chinny chin.
I love that. Right then, darlings, have yourselves a great night. Much, much, much love to you all. And please do join myself and the fabulously lovely Emma tomorrow night. Earlier time, remember, 10 o'clock tomorrow. Monday Night Live with Emma and Boaty. Hope to see you then. Have a fabulous night. Have the best day you can tomorrow. Much, much love to you all. And good night. For you and indeed. Ha ha.